Hello and welcome back, and welcome to a Patreon peek with my interview with Yeremi. Now, if you've been watching the channel regularly and have watched throughout this Challenge 41 season, you may have noticed that I've spoken to Yeremi before, 3 times to be exact. Yeremi has been very generous with his time over the course of the season, and in this third and most recent interview, we go deep diving into the Challenge 41 final, where Yeremi shares a lot of behind the scenes things that were cut and were not ultimately shown in the final edit. There's even more behind Ropegate and who took the rope. We talk in depth about everything that happened from the Connect board all the way up to how Yeremi and Olivia had that miraculous comeback to become challenge champions. We even delve into the reunion and some tea behind that, and much, much more. Now, this video is only a portion of the 70+ minute interview that I had with Yeremi. If you would like to get access to the full interview and watch the other 2 Yeremi interviews, you can check those out over at my Patreon at patreon.com/angelcakevids. It's available to the $3 and $5 tier patrons. You not only get access to this interview, but you'll get access to a ton of other Patreon exclusive content, like my other challenge interviews, weekly live streams, premium reality TV commentary videos, premium challenge commentary videos that aren't suitable here on YouTube, and much, much more. So again, if you would like to see this full interview as well as get a ton of great content, please go check out my Patreon at patreon.com/angelcakevids. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below and I will get to them as soon as I can. But for now, please enjoy the video. Hello and welcome back, a reigning challenge champion, Yeremi. Thank you for being here for a 3rd time. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Drew. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, I'm super excited. The new challenge champion. It feels amazing to hold that title. And yeah, I'm really excited to be back on your podcast and to chop it up a little bit about what this final was like and how this season has wrapped up.
Have you gotten used to people calling you a challenge champion yet?
Man, it's still so fresh since it happened last week. It's still like, I don't know, it was crazy. Like last week, or last weekend, I was at the Over the Edge Celebrity Weekend, and I got to hang out with John A, Mark Long, and like Jordan, and it was insane just to get like kind of like props from them for this season, for the performance, for everything like that. So to get like kind of that recognition, it still feels very surreal. But I don't know. It's just an interesting time in my life. You know what I mean? This is like a fracture of reality. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this doesn't happen often to so many people. So when it is happening, you just feel like you're living in a different world. And I'm just trying to handle it the best I can, man.
I kind of want to get an estimate of the timeline of what happens after the ending of episode 17, where Justin and Nani are eliminated in Balls In 2.0. You guys get back to the challenge house. What takes place in between that time to where we see you at the beginning of episode 18 when you guys are in the bus traveling to meet up with TJ / get into the helicopters? Like, what is the time limit? What is the time frame from that point?
After the very last elimination, and TJ essentially reveals to us that we've made the final. After that happens, we went back to the house, and I think they gave us like a timeline. I think they gave us the entire next day
Mm.
to essentially kind of like rest and prepare. The next day at night, we held a dinner for the finalists, and it was like the first time that we all, we got to have like a really nice fancy dinner. I think we got steaks and
Oh, nice.
like the nicest food that we've had there. So we got to do that. We all got to talk about our favorite experiences during the season, what it feels like to get here now. Um, and then we have to start packing. We have to pack all of our stuff. We have to get it all situated. And they told us as well that pack everything that you have. And then we had like these little like kind of like challenge backpacks.
Mhm.
And said in your backpacks, make sure you put your cold weather leggings and your cold weather like long sleeve shirts because that's about all we had. Um,
Mhm.
in terms of our uniforms, right? For our uniforms, we had our shirts and then we had our shorts, official challenge, gear. And then underneath that for our cold weather layers, we had like a long sleeve shirt, kind of like what I'm wearing right now, and long sleeve leggings. And they said pack those. in the backpack, and then we'll give you a call time for tomorrow. And I think our call time for the next day to then board the bus that would take us to meet TJ at the final was at like 6 a.m. or something like that. So
Oh,
while
wow.
you're doing all that, you're just preparing for what is about to happen. And it's a crazy like feat. I remember I was journaling and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. Like I know I'm in, like I know what's in store for me is about to be like some S tier level like suffering.
That's very interesting because, yeah, I was actually quite surprised that when the episode 18 started, y'all were just like already on the bus taking off when normally we get like a dinner, some reflection. I know they did it halfway through the season, but were there like letters from home that you guys were able to see at the dinner, or they just didn't do that?
No, man, I wish that would have been crazy. Or I guess I don't wish, honestly, because then more of y'all would have saw me cry my eyes out for real if I read a letter from my mom. But we did do a dinner, and you're exactly right. We did do a dinner, and they didn't really show it that much. I'm not really too sure why. Maybe there just wasn't enough substance inside of the
Mm.
dinner, right? It was like, by that time, Drew, we are tired, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they're always when you're on camera, they're like energy, energy, energy. And we've been here for like
Hmm.
2 months already, and I'm just like exhausted. So that might have been one of the reasons, which I can definitely understand. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to watch a segment that is like, very low energy, but I think you're kind of right at the same time. Like I think it would have been an opportunity to highlight a lot of the different competitors, not only their stories
Hmm.
throughout the season, what they've done, what they've overcome, but it would have also given a precursor and highlight of their why. Why are they here? What is their reason? Who are they fighting for?
Yeah.
What are they fighting for? And that would have been something that would have really, really, I think, in my opinion, helped the viewers and the audience connect with each finalist as they were going through the final.
I'm just gonna leave it wide open. How was day one of the final for you?
It was scary, dude. I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie. I had fought my way all the way up until to get to that point, and I know what the final is worth, and I know
Hmm.
what to expect, right? I've seen it many, many times before, in a lot of previous seasons, so I knew it was gonna be exceptionally hard. I knew that there was an enormous physical element. I know there's a huge endurance element. I know there's a starvation element, and eventually a lack of sleep element. But I'm not gonna lie, man. I was scared. It was a daunting task to take on, and you knew what you were in store for, which makes it even scarier. But there was also a level of excitement because I was like, man, this is it. This is what it's what you trained for. It's what you fought for. It's why you're here, is to
Hmm.
be here in the final, to get the opportunity to fight. In my head, at that time, it's so crazy. This whole competition, like the main thing I'm not fighting for is the money, right? It's
Hmm.
not like the money motivates me, but the title, the challenge champion title, that right there is one of the most valuable things, um, to me, especially with this competition, because it is such a difficult
Hmm.
competition that it's a very valuable thing to get to. Um, and then kicking it off, it was the first day was tough, tons
Yeah.
of running, and I'm experienced in running, especially mountain and trail running. Um, and let me tell you, Drew, it is not easy. You know,
Hmm.
Trail running is not an easy thing to do, especially starting it off like kayaking. That water was like freezing cold. So, that feeling when you're about to get in like cold, cold water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. And then you get in and you're freezing, but you're like, oh, dude, I gotta just go. And then at the same time, you gotta like memorize these things that you don't even know what they are. So it was definitely tough, and running throughout the day, especially when we got to the puzzle circuit, right? I think in the final we called it like the puzzle headquarters.
Okay.
And you essentially you like kayak down the river, you do your first checkpoint, then you run up the river, and then you hit like these switchbacks going up the side of like this valley mountain, which was destructive. I'm saying like you can't run. You can only like hike with your, with your legs, your hands on your knees and stuff. It was very, very steep. Um, and then you get to a certain point where you then run to where you are around puzzle headquarters, and then you stop, you hit a puzzle, but then you continue on the trail, and it takes you down in elevation all the way around like this little mountain area to where you have to then do another long switchback like hike until you get to the top of the plateau, which is where the puzzle headquarters is, and it is like it's eating your legs apart. And I think you had to do that 3 times that day.
Sheesh. What was the checkpoint that kind of got you guys thrown off the most, or what was the most difficult checkpoint to do?
To be honest, in my opinion, like the most difficult checkpoint.
Speaking of Turbo and Sydney, they were ahead in that day one for majority. When was the last time you saw them on day one? And was it discouraging that you guys were in second place like the nearly the entire time and never like saw them until Stair Machine?
Yeah, I think the last time that we saw them was before the Sudoku challenge. I'm not
Mm,
gonna lie, like when we pulled up to the Sudoku challenge, they weren't even still there. And we didn't even
mm.
see them run off.
Oh
So we were
wow.
like, they got a fat lead, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't see the team in front of you at a puzzle challenge that you're about to do, you ain't gonna catch up to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's where the equalizer came into account, and I saw you passing into the checkpoint headquarters. I'm looking around. I'm looking at the next things that we're gonna have to do, and I noticed that the Stairmaster was a head-to-head.
Hmm.
So I knew they were gonna have to wait for us to get there in order to complete it. I was trying to hold out hope. I was just trying to hold out hope. I was like, they're definitely killing everybody right now,
Hmm.
but I don't know what else, is in store for us. You know what I mean? Like finals are so unpredictable and there's so many different things that they can put you through. So I was just trying to hold out hope that there's a chance or some type of opportunity that we could get in front of them. And, it wasn't the Stairmaster. So that sucked.
How did it feel coming in second place to that checkpoint, then seeing Sydney and Turbo leaving on the helicopter, and then Michaela and Cedric were just standing there waiting, ready for to take you guys on after just losing.
It was definitely discouraging,
Mhm.
for sure. And it sucks because like when I got on that Stairmaster against Sydney and like we went head to head against each other, like Olivia was like, she was like, I know I'm not doing this. She's like, I don't have what it takes to even compete on this. And I was like, so I knew the pressure or the responsibility was already on me. And
Mhm.
then, in my heart, I kind of felt like Turbo had what it takes, but I, I did not know how bad Turbo was doing during the final.
Mhm.
I found that out watching the final back, seeing how poor I think Turbo did during the final. Um, and then yeah, Sydney got up on there, and I just like I am someone who doesn't mind losing if you beat me.
Yeah.
If I fought hard, which I always will fight hard, and you beat me, you deserve to win. And I can respect that. And I don't have any malice or I don't have any regret in my heart because I know I tried my best. So when I got there, I wanted to give Sydney like I wanted us to have like the best fight that we could. And I really tried to take it to the extreme. And y'all saw me like dripping sweat at the end once she defeated me. Um, but looking back on it, it wasn't the best move. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like I should have, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I should have just conceded to Sydney and Turbo, let that, got off really quick, let them go, and then took a little bit of time. I really wouldn't have had that much time. I might have had like 10 minutes or so
Mhm.
if I had thought about this really, really quickly to stretch my quads out and then go against Cedric and Michaela on the next round. But I don't even think about that, man. I'm not gonna lie, like my brain doesn't work like that. Like I always want to fight really hard.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and then they came up and I was so cooked from Sydney that I was basically like, Olivia, it's not gonna be me. And then she got up on there against Cedric and she was like, she was like, I mean, you know what I mean? Her confidence in that checkpoint was pretty low.
Yeah, yeah.
So she was like, I definitely can't do much here. So I'm probably gonna get off. You know, her thing was like, I need to save my legs. And I was like, well, I guess we'll just save our legs in last place.
There was something through the screen that I could feel from you when she was like got up from Cedric on Cedric's turn and she was just like, I want to save my legs after she just said I want to save my legs on the first run. I guess there was a disconnect or something because I was like, oh, she wants to save her legs just in case Yeremi can't win against Sydney, that she can go up against Cedric and Michaela. And that was not the case. It was just save my legs in general.
In general, right? Exactly. And I was like, I always want my partner, like the thing was with me is like
Mhm,
I will be a good partner, but I can turn very like I can get very snappy and
mhm.
I can become a very like I can get rude and I can get kind of angry when I'm in a partnership if I think that my partner isn't giving me what I'm giving them.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fact that that was happening and that I did that, and then both times she was like, "No, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna need to get off." I was just like, I mean, I was like, it didn't even look like you tried that hard. But I will say in Olivia's defense, like she's not stupid. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like she knows what she's capable of. And if she knows that in a perfect state, she's not going to last longer than Cedric, in a beaten state, she's definitely not going to last longer than Cedric. So for her in that position, it was smart for her to be like, I know I can't do this. Like
Mhm.
it's like, do I hold on to my pride and absolutely waste myself? Or do I just concede because I know what my capabilities are, and at this moment, they're just not going to be better than Cedric's?
Was there ever a slight percentage chance that you were going to possibly stake a claim, maybe on Sydney, once TJ gave the option?
Dude, no. Not even a chance, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I'm telling you, I just got
Yeah.
my whooped, right? And like 3 days prior to this, I whooped my own, you know, doing one of the riskiest moves in the game, taking a
Hmm.
Olivia, and I knew what that entailed. And then I just got my whooped this entire time. Um, in the day one of the final, right? Like we did all that running. I competed the hardest in the Stairmaster. Then we get to the base of the mountain, and I'm the one that has to swim. I had just done all of this stuff and I had staked a claim before, so I knew what it
Yeah.
entailed. So when he brought that question up, in my head, I was like, nah, nah. I did hope that it was like the smallest sliver of hope. And I want to highlight that because I there was a little bit of hope there that Sydney would stake a claim on me, but um, I did not because of everything that was happening in the house between Sydney and Turbo and their kind of
Hmm.
toxic, weird partnership. I definitely didn't expect her to muster up the courage to do that, especially when him and her have been going through all this weird stuff. And at the same time, man, why would she?
Yeah.
She's in first place. She was in first place by like 30 minutes
True.
today with the boy, right? Who freaking, you know, in her head, she's like, I got to keep Turbo around because he's better at puzzles than Jeremy is. And, you know, why, you don't need to fix something that's not broken. So in her head, I definitely understand that. But for me, bro, I was wiped. I was not, I was like, no, no, I'm not doing no stake it claim because you're going to have to do that challenge in the morning. Hell no.
Oh, there was going to be a challenge in the morning that you all would had to do?
Olivia said she felt really good too. And then, yeah, TJ lined us up and was like, you know, welcome to day two of the final. And then we went into kind of like, what is everybody calling it? Rope gate, right?
Yeah.
That was kind of, it was kind of interesting. He originally, TJ lined us up and he told us like about the mountain thing. We did our little reactions. And then he was like, all right, y'all go get your ropes. And we ran into camp, and I remember earlier in the morning I'd taken my rope and I draped it on my tent.
Okay.
Right when TJ broke us and we all ran into camp to grab our ropes, Cedric ran straight up to my tent. Like he wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like Turbo and Sydney, me and Olivia, Theo and Adrian, and then Michaela and Cedric. So he
Okay.
was like two little tents away from me, but he ran up to mine. And I was like, I had to yell at him. I was like, nah, brother, no, 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 that's not your rope. That's my rope. And he was like, oh, my bad, dude. And then he like ran to his tent, and I was like, what the heck was that? So I went and I grabbed my rope, and then we all line up, and TJ's like, do you guys have all your ropes? And Cedric and Michaela are like, nah, we don't have my rope. And they were making a whole deal out of like, we left our rope right here. It's not here anymore. Who took it? All that kind of stuff. In my head, I'm like, one, you just try to kind of like snake my rope, first of all. Second of all, why is like I told you, their tent was over here. Like the campfire was like here,
Hmm.
somewhat close to Turbo and Sydney's, and their rope was like on the ground between the campfire and Turbo and Sydney's. First of all, why is your rope there?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like leaving your shoes out on the other side of camp.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Like in my head, I'm like, you should like I feel like it's common sense to keep all of your things near you.
Hmm.
So there's like, it's a definitive mark on what you own. But that didn't happen. And then, they got into the, somebody took our rope thing.
That is wild that your rope was in play to be in rope gate as well. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard anything about that. So it's like that is wild that it could have been something else if you hadn't turned around and
I
saw.
know, bro. I know. And it's funny because you're not gonna hear nothing about it because ain't nobody else want to talk about it, right? But I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk about everything that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like what y'all didn't see, what you did see, and what that was really like. And that I remember that specifically because I was like, in my head, I was like, one, you're accusing somebody else of stealing your rope, but you went immediately to my tent that's not your tent.
Hmm.
Right? It's like going to somebody else's backpack to get their notebook and you being like, oh, that's my bad. I thought that was my notebook in my bag.
Yeah.
You're like, your bag's not even over here, dog. So it was kind of crazy.
You guys go to the Connect Four, you lose three times in a row. You get there in second place, you lose three times in a row. What is the vibe standing by that giant Connect Four board when you lose against Turbo and Sydney, see them go, Michaela and Cedric, see them go, and then Theo and Adrian, probably swap those two, and see them go? Like, what is the vibe once the producer says, all right, now you guys have to wait 10 minutes,
Yeah.
time penalty, 10 minutes, and you just see everybody going up that mountain?
Yeah. It was a very defeating feeling, seriously, like to be down there and to know that we're in the spot that we're at right now. It was very, very defeating and especially to see all the rest of the competitors going up. Like I I do have a lot of faith in my running, but I know hiking is different. And I know that it can be very difficult to catch up to somebody who's hiking the same pace you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I saw it, I was like, oh God, this is gonna be so like we're in such a bad spot right now. Everybody has such a lead on us. Plus, we have this 10-minute time penalty. And I was just sitting there walking back and forth, just pacing. I was asking the producer, like, how much time we have left? Like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, okay, okay. And like the closer that we got to it, I was trying to amp Olivia up. And I was like, look, girl, I was like, all we gotta do is just get third. I was like,
Hmm.
that's all we got to do. Let's just get third. We'll place. We'll get a little bit of money. Like, let's just do that. But I told her, I was like, man, but I because I know how difficult it is to surpass or even catch up to anybody who is hiking the same pace as you. I was telling her, I was like, if there is any chance that we're gonna surpass anybody, I was like, we're gonna have to like really go. And I mean, and I'm like, and you're really not gonna like it. So I really gotta get that across to you that like, we're gonna be going. I told her, I was like, I'm not gonna push you to you, but
Yeah.
I am gonna push you harder than I've been pushing you.
Hmm.
She was like, I've been trying. I was like, I've been trying, baby, but we gotta really, you know what I mean? You gotta be willing to die on this mountain right now with me, okay? And yeah, and then we set off.
And luckily, she saved her legs from the stair machine. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, bro, that's crazy. I don't know if I would have given her that much credit, but yes, she did. It ended up coming back into play during this where she did save it. Yeah.
Was passing one team after another just like even more like did that push you guys and like even like get up your adrenaline as you guys kept going and was like, oh, we're in third, cool. And then maybe you look up and it's like, oh, Michaela and Cedric, okay, well, let's just keep going kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I'll definitely say in the beginning for a long time, there was no sight of
Mhm.
many of them. So it was definitely really hard. At that point, I was like, let's just keep going, like keep going, you know what I mean? Like keep moving. And then once we caught sight of Theo and Adrian, I was like, man, yes. I was like, yo, they're right here. And I was telling her, I was like, yo, they keep stopping. Like, let's keep going, keep going, keep going. And we did get to that point where we finally passed them. And I remember when we passed them, they were like sitting down
Mhm.
and um and it was wonderful, and I was like, dang man, and in my head I was like, I cannot believe you're sitting down right now. That's crazy. This is the final, right? I had one of
Yeah.
those moments that I it made me feel very similar to the moment that I had when I ran up the mountain in the beginning of the show. um, because I ran up it, right, and just
Mhm.
in just a competitive manner. And then when I was coming down, like I saw people like taking breaks and sitting on rocks and stuff, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "This is the challenge." You know, I mean, you don't sit down on the challenge. Like I don't. In my head, right? That is my perception of this competition and how to compete in it, right? So when I saw Theo and Adrian sitting down on the final, I was like, I will take your place.
Mhm.
And we surpassed them. But within sight from surpassing them was Michaela and Cedric. And I was like, oh, bro, we can see them too. So I was just trying to tell Olivia, I was just trying to talk to her as much as I can. Um, and I was just trying to give her just like some type of like narration of what's happening, of how much longer we have, who
Mhm.
is in sight. I'm trying to not let her, because you can very, very quickly give into your own head, give into the pain, give into the defeat. I mean, we're in a really bad spot in this final. So we were very, very susceptible to allowing our heads to defeat ourselves. So I was trying to do my best to help her realize, one, we're picking up ground, two, there's a chance. Now there's a chance we can get second. I was like, let's
Yeah.
just get second. Come on, let's keep going.
How far when you pass Michaela and Cedric are you guys going until you see Turbo and Sydney in sight?
Yeah. Um, there was a couple, I think there was probably like two false summits above us when we passed Michaela and Cedric, so we couldn't really see Theo.
Mhm.
We could not see Turbo and Sydney. So we weren't really sure. We just kept on going, and we got to essentially the top of the second like false summit. That then you could see the severe incline of the mountain, and at the base of the incline was Turbo and Sydney, you know, crawling up on all of the shards of rock and gravel that continues to slide down. And we saw them, and I was like Olivia was like, "Is that Turbo and Sydney?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, "We're really not that far from them." Um, and I think I think from that like false summit to that spot, I think we even gave it a little like a little jog,
Mm.
because I don't think there was that much more incline. It was a little more of like you're kind of at an equal spot, and then you'd kind of go down this little trail to where that incline is. So we saw them, and we probably gave them a little jog. Um, and then once we were on that climb, we knew that they were essentially like 500 yards in front of us on the climb.
Wow. That is yeah, because I won't lie. There was a point that I will not forget, or like it's still ringing in the back of my mind. It's like Olivia being like, "They're right there, they're right there," and you could tell like as you guys were getting shown, her head is down. She is just like trudging along, trying to keep up with you. But it was like in that moment, it was like a second life, a second wind, almost of like we're going, we're doing this now. It's
Yeah.
in sight.
Yeah, and I'm great. I think it's wonderful that you guys that you saw it, and then I hope more people saw it, because that was very real. Like for a lot of the time, she was just like trying to hold on, right? But when she saw that, it was like a spark of motivation in her, and she started talking way more, man. Like when we were on that, you know, when we were on the side and we were just trudging and climbing along, um, she was very vocal, and she was very like encouraging, and she was trying to talk a lot more, and trying to steer us. At one point she was like, I think we need to go to the right. We need to get off of this gravel. We need to get on these rocks. Like we need to keep going this route. And we just like come like keep going. She was supporting me and encouraging me. And and yeah, dude, and then we got to like the battle of the mountain, like the joust between teams where both teams were inching along towards the end. And and that was it was monumental because the reason Olivia and I were able to overtake Sydney and Turbo was because we decided to take a risk and expend more physical energy uh, during the section that had like a clump of rocks, right? It was a
Mhm.
very it was almost like a this trail, like somewhat of a trail that you're kind of following. We were following it with Turbo and Sydney like side by side for a long time, but Turbo and Sydney were kind of like, they were spread out on the trail, like kind of like not letting anybody like get onto the trail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like almost when a race car doesn't, want to let the other one go in front. And this trail led to this rock formation, and the trail had like the path went like this way and then up and over it. And they weren't letting us get on the trail. They were like elbowing us away. So I told Olivia, I was like, follow me. And it was a dangerous move because by that time we had crushed our muscles. Like
Hmm.
they were destroyed. And I decided to take us on it was a very risky and a very dangerous move to climb over the rock formation and not follow the pathway because they were going to follow it. I took us on it and climbed us over it. And that was dangerous because it required you to lift this leg like all the way up here, which can immediately instill like destructive level cramps in your
Hmm.
hamstrings or your quads or your calves to do a movement like that with your legs who are already wasted.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what we did. We got to that little like formation and I brought her over and we climbed while they followed the path. But when we climbed, we overtook them right there. And then Olivia was like, boy, she was happy. She was like, oh my God, we're in first place. She was like, oh my God, Yeremi, please. She was like, please, please keep going. Please don't give up. Please keep going. And I was like, what? I felt like, um, I don't know if you've seen Game of Thrones, but I felt like I was a White Walker in the North, just like following like the dead army, where I was just like this zombie holding on to this frozen rope, just trudging forward. Like my lips were frozen and chapped, my nose was dripping, I couldn't feel my fingers anymore. I think I was holding on to the rope literally like this. And I was so cold. I was just like connecting my fingers together just to try and hold it any further. And it was just like one small step at a time, but she was really like being vocal, being like, Jeremy, please keep going. Don't give up. We're so close. We're almost there. Keep pushing. And and that's when we made our last the push through the ascent.
Yeah, and you guys were really like through the edit, it looks like you guys were actually getting some space between you and Turbo and Sydney, which was incredible. So not only are you a challenge champion, but you are a challenge champion with the biggest comeback after a giant stretch. I have to know, how do you guys get off that summit? When you guys get on there, you guys are celebrating, you have to take a whole bunch of photos, you got to do
Yeah.
the whole like Rocky Mountain like yell. But
Yep.
then there's a point where it's like, okay, how are we getting off of this thing?
Yeah. No, I feel you, bro. I feel you. And I was like, dude, getting up there, I was just like, oh God, I like immediate, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I didn't express the excitement that you would think you would express when you win the challenge.
Mm,
But it was mainly because I was in such a high degree of suffering. Like
yeah.
I was so cold, my muscles were so like they were in so much pain. Um, and we get up there and I'm just like I'm dying. And there was a group of like Sherpas up there
Hmm.
that were like kind of hiding like within all these rocks, and we went over there and like cuddled near some of them because they were like just trying to hide from the wind in the rocks. Um, and I was up there and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is over. Like, I want a blanket. I want warmth. You know what I mean? Like, I want
Yeah.
comfortability. I need it. I need it. And I'm like, and now I'm here. I'm here. And so I was just like, so what's happening, right? Is there gonna be like a helicopter that's gonna come? Where are they gonna land? And you know, one of the cameramen was like, man, super congrats, bro. Congrats. Like you did really good. But the conditions up here are really bad. Like
Hmm.
it was one getting late, so the temperature was dropping drastically and quickly, and it was really, really windy. And they were saying they were like, it's really dangerous up here right now. So congrats, but you need to get down the mountain as fast as you can. And I was like, yeah, like on your back, or is there a slide, or you know, like how's this gonna happen? Y'all got wingsuits for us or something? And he was like, no, 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 just go down the way that you came up. Like, is that right? Oh my crazy. But you know what? I held on to my warmth the best I could. One of the Sherpas gave me his like good gloves,
Oh,
which I was
nice.
really appreciative about, so that helped. And then I took like the placard that we won inside of the treasure, and I just put it right up in my shirt, and I just held on to it like this, and then I just put my head down, and I just slowly trekked down the entire mountain until we got to somewhat of a flat area, and then the helicopter dropped down, picked us up, and then took us away.
Oh, good. That's awesome. I'm glad that helicopter showed up at some point.
Yeah.
But it kind of is a full circle moment. I was thinking about this the other day that the whole season started with a run up the mountain and then having to come back down, and you were first in that. And then the ending was you going up a mountain, getting first place, and then now having to track back down
Yes,
as well.
absolutely. It was very ironic the way that it started and the way that it ended as well. But yeah, I mean, it was treacherous, man. Ooh.
Well, that is all the questions that I have and all the time that you we have with each other. I just want to say thank you again for being so gracious with your time, not just sitting down with me today, but the two other times as well to give such insight. And also, thank you for remembering the little people. After winning the challenge, becoming a challenge champion, you were so gracious with your time, opening up, even after getting home last night from being
Yeah.
away the whole time. You were like, "Yeah, I'm totally open if you want to talk." So I really, really appreciate all the insight, all the great game chat, and everything that you've bestowed upon us and being able to talk throughout this season. I'm very proud of being able to say that you are a challenge champion. You did an incredible job inside and outside the final, inside and outside the game. And now I would like to open it up to have you say anything that you want to promote, your social media or anything like that, where people can find you, and hopefully see you again very, very soon on the TV and on the show.
Nice, man. Thank you. I appreciate it again, Drew, for having me on the podcast. I will always be open to coming and speaking with you on the seasons, on the challenge of everything. Yeah, if anybody wants to again follow me, you can mainly follow me. I'm mainly on Instagram. It's just Yeremi. It's just Yeremi Hykel. You can find me there. I'm going to be getting a lot more into making content and posting about the things that I value in life, the things that I pursue, the philosophies that I have and some of my perspectives. So if those are things that you enjoy, you absolutely can follow me there. Um, and yeah, I guess the last thing I'll say is thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. I know some of you guys think that you guys are the little people, and that when I reached this level of accomplishment, that I could forget about it. But you guys are the reason. People like you, Drew, are the reason that I even have the ability to do any of the things that I do. You know what I mean? The community that is surrounded in the challenge is what makes the challenge what it is. It is what gives the competitors the fire to go in there and compete. You guys are the foundation of what we are, what we do, and why the challenge is such an amazing competition. So I just want to say thank you so much for your passion in this show, your care to hear our stories and our experiences, and for everything that you do for our community and for the challenge.
Oh, thank you so much for those kind words. Again, congratulations on being a challenge champion, and hopefully we see you back on the show very, very soon.
Nice. Thanks, Drew.
And before ending the video, I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 41 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.